Hi, welcome to the Whitey White Guy Show. I'm Whitey, and today I'm going to review a film called Source Code. And I apologize for the towel, but it is hot. Air conditioning is pumping. I got two fans going, but brother, it's July 5th, and it is hot out here. I'm close to 100 degrees today. So, apologize for this, but all day. Now, the Source Code came out in 2011. It was directed by Duncan Jones at a box office of 147.3 million. Cinematographer was Don Burgess. And it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Monaghan, Vera Farmiga, Jeffrey Wright, and then a slew of those. That's really your four main characters that you're following through the film, and then a bunch of smaller characters, of course. Yeah, Michael Arden. So, so what you have here, it's kind of hard to explain. And while I really do like this movie, and it's going to get a strong recommend from me, it kind of was like, no, let me explain to you the exact science. And that's how the source code works. That's basically what the film did. I ain't kidding. It set up some. It's sci-fi, but not like aliens and stuff. But it's takes science. It's very Jurassic Park. It's like you can't make dinosaurs with mitochondrial DNA and plug in the gaps with frog DNA. But if you could, this is what we do. And it's the same thing. It's like tech doesn't exist for this. But if it did, it would make this really cool story. And that's source code. So Jake Gyllenhaal basically wakes up on this commuter train heading into Chicago from somewhere else. I don't know if they mention it. And he's sitting across from Michelle Monaghan, and he has no clue where he is, how he got there, all that kind of jazz. And she's talking like she's this guy named Sean Fentress, who's a school teacher, and they're going to Chicago to be school teachers, I think. I think they both are. I don't know. And she's talking about getting a new job and a new boyfriend and all this stuff. And Jake Gyllenhaal has no clue how he got there. Then after 8 minutes, everything explodes, and he's in a what do you call it, like a capsule with a TV screen right here. And this lady, Colleen Goodwin, played by Vera Farmiga, I think that's how you say her last name, who's all very good actress, all good actors in this film. And she's explaining to him that he's in something called the source code, and someone earlier in that day set off a bird. There's a bomb that's going to go off, and he's got to find the bomb. And it's one of those things where, as you go along, he's getting a little more information, figuring out what's going on. So initially, he thinks he's in the military. You'll find out over the course of the film he's a helicopter pilot, I believe, like a Black Hawk, well trained, skilled individual. Um, you know, there's things they do where they basically just tell, they got they can read his heart rate, and she's like, calm your heart rate down. And within seconds, he can just control his heart rate through all his training he has to the military. And so there's a bomb on a train. He has to find it before it goes off. He thinks he's part of a training program. And so you go to every 8 minutes he's back on the train at the beginning of that conversation, and then he's got to piecing stuff together to figure out where this bomb is. And when the bomb goes off after 8 minutes, he's back in the capsule talking to Goodwin, who's again Vera Farmiga, and getting piece by piece a little more information about what's going on. Wandering out in the background is a guy you find his name, Dr. Rutledge, played by excellently. They all do a good job. Excellently played by Jeffrey Wright. I've heard reviews where people said his performance was a little over top. I thought his performance was exactly where it's supposed to be. He plays a doctor. He's a bit eccentric, but I thought it fit for what you're going to find out what's happening. So every once he's back on the train, he's got 8 minutes to find this bomb where all these people are going to die. There's really no way to discuss this film without spoiling it. I'll spoil it to an extent. So what it turns out he's not part of some kind of simulation. Science is when you die, there's like 8 minutes of brain function. So your heart stops, your lung stops, your brain is stops functioning. There's 8 more minutes where there's electrical activity in your brain. The source code, which is the title of the film, they found some way to tap into those 8 minutes so they can go into your brain, so go back into the train and figure out where the bomb is. In real life, somebody put a bomb on this train and killed all these people. So, it doesn't really make sense, but it's an interesting story. So Jake Gyllenhaal can interact with all these people because they were able to put his cognition, his psyche, something into the brain of a guy named Sean Fentress because they were the closest to one another. And he mentioned synaptic maps and height, weight, all that stuff. Sean Fentress, who was a guy who died on this train, is the closest match to Jake Gyllenhaal for the sake of the source code. And again, it's one of those things that's like, well, let me explain to you how this works. And that's how the source code functions. And you're like, huh? So they really don't truly explain this at any point in the film. But this is fantastic. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of those guys, just like Keanu Reeves, Ben Affleck. Who's the other dude I'm thinking of? DiCaprio. Sometimes they get a crappy performance, and then they just wow you. DiCaprio and The Departed was fantastic. Okay, some other pictures not as so much. I could go over the list. Keanu Reeves, early Keanu Reeves, not that hot. Keanu Reeves, John Wick, pretty good work. Keanu Reeves. Jake Gyllenhaal's a bit the same way, only not quite as egregious. He's on the higher end of that performance spectrum, but he's been in some crap movies. This is Jake Gyllenhaal crushing it. He goes to the next level on this one. In my opinion, I think he just did a phenom job. My God, and he's only got a few minutes to give you a performance. And when he gets sent, the train explodes. He gets sent back to the capsule. Then he gets sent back to the train. He's only got brief windows of time to really pull you in. And Michelle Monaghan does a good job. Vera Farmiga does a good job. Jeffrey Wright, I loved him in this film. All the actors are great. But Jake Gyllenhaal he went Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? He went Tom Brady. He was the GOAT on it. It just went into the stratosphere of performance and really pulls you in. You care about this guy. You care about how did he get here? What's going on? Is he gonna find this bomb? What's gonna happen to these people? And so, as it turns out, everybody on this train, you think it's a simulation, maybe something like Inception, they're in a dream. Nope, they're dead. But somehow he can walk around in that reality and interact for 8 minutes because they're able to tap into this guy who was there who died and use his 8 minutes of brain activity after his death, which doesn't make a lick of sense because he exploded. I just thought of that. A bomb went off. So even if there's an 8 minute window of brain activity after your death, that's the physical brain. So are they once that's kablammed, there's nothing for them to tap into. This doesn't make any damn sense. The science of this is preposterous. But the film is fascinating. It's a really good movie. I'm trying. I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't want to ruin this film for you. I think this was a really good movie. I want you to go see this. Source Code. It's just Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. If I give you too much, it's gonna ruin it. Um, but I also want to tell you this funny anecdote. I'll do it in another review, but I was at my sister's house. I don't like most movies coming out these days. I haven't for a long time. I'm really picky about my films. And I was over at my sister's. She was watching this. It just started. I watched the whole movie. I was in it. I was in it to win it. I was like, this is fantastic. Gyllenhaal's acting his ass off. Way to go, Jake. God damn. Donnie Darko's back. And you can tell the tension and the buildup. This is leading up to something. Something's about to something. We're about to find out what happens. Oh my God. And then my niece comes back and blurts out how it ends. And she's like, is this the one where it's like that? And I'm like, and then that happens. The ending happens. You find out what it was the whole time. And I'm like, apparently. And that's why you haven't heard from my niece in a few years. So, this is fantastic. It's a fantastic film. It's got its flaws for sure. But when you're watching this from the get go, and you're wondering, what's going on? Like, how does this work? Who are these people? He's in this capsule. What's happening here? Is he going to find a bomb? Oh my God. And then you get to the end, and you're kind of like, eh? What? So there's the situation with the bomb that gets resolved, but then there's the situation with the source code, and then that happens, and you're like, eh? And that's the you don't really use language, you don't articulate words. You're just like, eh? That's all that comes out of you when you get to the end of this film. Up into that very last 60, 70 seconds, this is really good. The writing is sharp, crisp, bing, bang, boom. You're getting where you got to go. The tension's building the whole time. Um, Somehow you still get exposition and character development, and character art, all this stuff, and you're in it. Man, I was in it to win it. I was like, what happens? How does it end? And then it did, and I was like, eh, what? Fuck it. I had a good time. So the source code, it's not the source code, it's just source code, came out in 2011. Jake Gyllenhaal has to find the bomb. Um, so I'll spoilers ish. I'm not going to run the complete ending. He's part again. They technology. The doctor, Jeffrey Wright's character, Doctor Rutledge, developed a technology that can zap Jake Gyllenhaal in there and to the guy. He eventually finds the bomb. You kind of know it's coming. He finds the bomb, but you can't say those people died when the bomb went off. So he's tapping into the electrical circuits, and the guy's, I don't know. I don't get it. Um, I can't ruin it. I'd ruin it. So go watch Source Code. Go watch Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a fantastic film. The only problem is like the very, 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 very end of this movie where you're just like, eh. So check it out. I'm redundant here, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hopefully it's not 100 degrees tomorrow. Cheers.